So to my offshore fan base, I get it. 5 years into the hobby and it just sunk in right now. The first time I saw someone wearing an offshore, I'm like, what the hell is this thing? Like, why is the size that big? So I've never really been a fan of the offshores at all. Why do you have, it's not AP, like it cannot be AP, right? Like this is AP. Firstly, let me just put it out there that it's been, again, still a busy week for me. So that's why the videos are a little bit slowing down, but I should be back full speed by next week's video. So forgive me for that. This is gonna be a really short one talking about the offshore. Now, I really get it. Only now am I one myself and knowing that it's AP, I know it could take a minute. When I say minute, I mean like saying that it's gonna take a really long time. And this video is really to kind of share my thinking with you before pulling the trigger. Maybe you talk me out of it or I talk you into it. I don't know. But here's my thinking anyways. Let's get into it. What is up, guys? It is your boy Ritter from Watch Society. So what I was saying basically that I've never really been a fan of those offshore watches, right? I mean, I wasn't even a fan of the one that had ambassadors behind them, not the LeBron James, not the House Edition, and definitely not the Michael Schumacher one. I mean, that was just a really oversized watch by every single mean possible. I didn't even know what it was. The first time I looked at it, I was like, what the hell is this? Never liked them, thought they were too big, oversized, and heavy. In fact, most people thought it would be completely mad to buy an offshore chrono and neglected it. 44mm wasn't and still isn't for everyone. Of course, when you talk about AP, you definitely want to steal Royal Oak. You can never go wrong with the classics, whether it be a 15500, 15400, or a 15202 if you can get your hands on it. If it's a pick for one, you definitely want to go with the classics. Those are the ones for later over any offshore. The classic collection is always going to look timeless. It's the way to go. If it's one watch and one watch only from AP, then you obviously want to go with the classic Royal Oak. But for me, this is a case of adding one next to the Royal Oak, right? So this is where the fun comes into play, and I think this is what those offshores give you, right? They're robust, they're daily wearers, but they're also fun. They're playful, if you want to put it that way. Now, even though the bracelet of the 15500 is awkwardly up toward the lugs actually, you try to find ways to work around it, right? So I end up removing one link, thinking that this is actually going to get me to the right size, but it's actually too tight. And then I end up again removing two links, buying a 1.5 link, and eventually it is the right size. So this is not the most comfortable size. It's a little bit big, right? So it's either it's one link bigger or it's just too tight, but you still try to find ways to work around it. I mean, it's funny, right? So you work hard and you get the one that is really sought after, those stainless steel Royal Oaks, but we still somehow, you know, find something to justify another purchase. I guess this is our psychology, us as human beings, right? You always want a little bit more. And with that, I pinned the dial. You see that the 15500 actually has a very plain dial. And sometimes you just want that fun element, right? You want that fun dial, not too busy, but you know, you don't mind the little sub dials. The formation on the new 43 offshores, the 12, this 3, 6, and 12 is something I don't mind. And the 430 date window as well is unique, right? So every other AP has it on 3 o'clock. On the offshore chronos, you get the date window also at 4:30, which is, for a change, not a bad thing at all, and I thought it was interesting in that sense. And don't get me wrong, I don't want you to misunderstand something positive here. The 15500, 15400, any classic Royal Oak is definitely an amazing watch to have. It's the one to have from AP over any offshore, unless you're adding another watch next to it. But at the end of the day, it's not an everyday wear, right? It's not a watch you just wear it every time. For me personally, even though I have a lot of scratches on this watch, I still, every time I put it on, I'm super careful. And that's kind of the reason why I start maybe looking into the offshore line. I thought they're more robust, and what really got me into it is their latest releases, the 43 models. I mean, these watches are feather light. When you see it at first, you're thinking this is going to be a very heavy watch. The looks could be deceiving, but when I tried the smoked brown in titanium, I was like, yo, this is definitely the one to have. The 43s, that they're now more wearable than the 44s, although I don't really think 1mm adds all the difference in the world, but it's the way the case is now a little bit curved, right? On that rubber strap as well, it just sits right on the wrist. I haven't really had the opportunity to look at all of them, but I have seen most. So I've seen the black on stainless steel, I've seen the rose gold on black rubber strap. I was actually in fact on a wait list for a gold and black rubber strap that I've turned down because it was heavy. I've seen all three variations of the titaniums as well. I mean, it's what got me hooked, right? So the formation of the 3, 6, and 9 subdials is nice. I like it more than the previous formation on the 44mm, and even the 42s, the new 42s that just had come out, the divers included as well, is not something that I really favored over the new 43s, right? I gotta tell you, man, it's a lot of new offshores from AP in 1 year. I don't know if it was 1 year. I can't remember exactly when the 43s were released in 2020, but looking at it from that time till now, where they have the new releases, the 42s as well, the reduced 42 chronos, it's maybe under a year, and they've released 10 in total. So there was 5 on the 43s and 5 on the new 42s. But for me, why I don't think there's going to be much of a difference is that if you look at the case of the 43 and the 42, they're actually also curved. But I'm really sold into those offshores. I just think it's a beautiful watch. I think AP's finally speaking to us in a human way when it comes to the sizes of the offshore. They're much more wearable. Don't get me wrong, it's still not the smallest case size, so it could look big for some depending on your wrist size. But for me, it actually wears really good and I actually like it. So to recap some of the points that are actually pushing me to buy this watch is how light it is, it's robust, it's also the fact that it's a lot more playful than a classic Royal Oak, the 15500. And I've never owned any offshore before, and I just thought to myself the blue dial would be amazing, the blue on the plain titanium case. On the other hand, is it of course as sought after as the 15500? I don't know, I don't think so. I think they're harder to get in the beginning. Maybe it will ease later in the future, I'm not really sure. But then that is not a reason that is going to hold me back from buying it. And I think this blue dial will actually age better than the gray dial with the ceramic, the two-tone that is. I don't know if the ceramic is going to chip as well, you know, in the future. They say ceramics, you know, you can't scratch them, that's true, but they shatter and you can chip them. So that's another reason why I went with a plain titanium case. Let me know in the comment section down below, how do you feel about those new offshore chronos, those 43 case sizes. I really like the titanium, man, I gotta tell you, with the blue dial. And if you're a fan of the offshore, which one is your preference? I would love to go through your comments. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.